thawed out this pumpkin over the past couple of days, and I am going to make some pumpkin bread. Pumpkin bread is fun and easy, and most people enjoy it. This variety is almost dairy-free aside for the flour that my husband got, which is actually really good flour. It is protein packed. It's the Kodiak flour. It actually has whey in it, so it's something that we don't normally buy, but it was one of those finds at Grocery Outlet. If you're familiar with Grocery Outlet is awesome. And so my husband decided to get it. He got 3 packages of it because it was on sale, and it was a great deal, and we are slowly going through it, just like we are going through this pumpkin that I got back in, gosh, when did I initially cook it? I cooked it sometime in November and froze chunks of it. So I actually only need 2 cups for this recipe. So I'm just making sure I got everything I need here. I'm gonna puree this so that it looks like it came out of a can. That's how you want it. You want it pureed. This pumpkin was, I think, one of the ones that we got from the local farm. So on top of it, it's local. I'm really happy about that. I'm also using some a monk fruit combination sugar. It has a little bit of erythritol in it, but I used up the rest of the this Lakanto golden monk fruit sweetener, so it will have somewhat of a brown sugar taste to it as well, which is wonderful. The coconut oil I ran out of. I didn't know I was running that low. So I am going to be using a combination of the Mayokos, it's the Greek oat milk butter, cultured butter. So it's also dairy-free butter. So if I were using a regular flour, then it would be a dairy-free recipe, but I am not. And that's okay, because this variety is delicious anyway. So I need to just make sure that I'm getting 2 cups worth here. Let me just measure it out shortly, and then I can puree this either in the Blendtec or the Bullet. I have both, and both would work for something like this. I might go with the Bullet because everyone else is sleeping, and the Blendtec's a little louder, although I am going to be turning on the baking blender shortly anyway. So traditionally we would bake something like this gluten-free, my husband and I, but because we got this flour and we got the pumpkin, it kind of makes sense. So I'm going to put a little bit extra in here. It kind of makes sense just to use it all up. That's what I'm doing. And this is not the first time that I have baked after everyone else has gone to sleep, but it is, however, the first time that I'm recording. So if I am a little quiet, that's why. It's because everyone else is asleep already. And sometimes I like doing it like this only because it brings me a little bit of peace, you know. It's kind of like, you know, someone that prefers doing their art at night, something like that, right? So this is something that brings me some joy, which is actually really surprising, because when I first met my husband, he was a sweet tooth. Yeah, he still is. But it was actually kind of daunting for me because I was never a baker. Like, I was already cooking my own meals, and I was experimenting in the kitchen a lot with vegetables and grains and that type of thing, but I was never really baking. So it was kind of daunting for me initially to be like, oh geez, I have to try to learn how to bake. And I didn't have to, but I wanted to. You know, like it's just one of those things, you just feel good when you can support someone in that, especially, you know, someone that enjoys doing that. So I'm gonna pause the recording so I can go blend this stuff up. Okay, this is what it looked like. Best I could get it. I ended up adding a little bit of my butter concoction only so that it would blend up easier. You know, I didn't want to add any water to it, so I put some of the butter in there, which is just the coconut oil with the cultured oat milk butter. And I kept the container to show you. It's this one, the same brand of they also have a different cultured butter in sticks, which is really nice, but it's cashew. It's made of cashews. It's not the oat. And you know, for the longest time, River was allergic. My son River was allergic to cashews. We don't know if he still is. We actually have to get him back in for a test soon. Hopefully within the next couple of months would be great. He did try some pecans at an event not too long ago without reaction. So probably one of those things he's already grown out of. All right, the next step that we have to do is put together all the dried stuff. So I have the flour, which is this flour here. It's a protein flour. It has regular wheat protein in it. It has, I think it has chickpea protein, whole grain wheat flour, wheat protein isolate, chickpea protein, and whey protein. So the whey is the thing that makes this whole recipe not dairy free, which is different than what we normally do. Here's the rest of our dry stuff: the cinnamon, the nutmeg, and cloves, baking soda, baking powder, and salt. Okay, and I am going to make sure I get all of this off the plate and whisk this together. It already smells like the holidays in May, which is not a problem for me because this is fun. And what I've been doing with the other part of this pumpkin when I de-thaw a bag is putting it in the pancakes. It just gives it a little bit of a fun flavor. All right, so this is ready to go, but we have to put it aside so we can blend up we're gonna cream this, which is, like I said, a mixture, a blend of coconut oil with that butter over there. And then this is a combination of monk fruit, sugar, erythritol, and the golden monk fruit as well. So it's actually three different varieties of sugars in here, but it's a great blend anyway. And I can now say that the recipe is sugar-free. So we have that at least. Let me just move the camera so I can show the blender here. Let's close this not very fun stuff there. All right, I'm going to use the whisker so we can whisk up. The first two things will be creaming the butter and the sugar, and then we have the eggs as well. Okay, and here's River, isn't this cute? This was from the school picture. We had these made into magnets. I meant to send them out during Christmas and I didn't. He was actually crying hysterically 2 minutes before this photo was taken because he didn't want to go to school, and I was not going to let that happen the day that he had picture day. All right, coconut oil and butter is going in. There we go. I had to melt it a little bit in the microwave, which is okay, to help soften it up. All right, this was 3/4 cup of butter. Some of it, like I said, already went in with the pumpkin. And here is the lovely sugar. You hopefully can see where it turns brown. Yep, there's the brown stuff. So that is the the golden variety. Okay, of the monk fruit, and that is only the Lakanto brand that does that. We don't know what's going to happen in the future if another variety is going to do, another brand is going to do that. This thing gets stuck. There we go. Oh, I'm going to put a little towel on top. Actually, I'll use the other one over here so that I don't wake anyone up. Although, if it happens, it might happen. I'm going to just do it real low because all we're doing is creaming the butter and the sugar right now. Oh yeah, that's creaming nicely. The good thing about some of the alternative butters, so the butters that are made with the oat milk or even the cashews or some of the other butters even that aren't, that we had when I was growing up even, you know, like in my household we didn't actually, we didn't use regular margarine, we used a different variety, although I think we did use, my mom baked with margarine, but we used different varieties of butters growing up. So a lot of those, the benefits to that, rather than using coconut oil, is that they bake similar to regular butter. So you have that. But I do like still using the coconut oil because it is, it does have the benefits. It's one of those healthy fats. Some of the butters that you find do have a lot of different ingredients. So even this one, even though it says oat milk, the very first ingredient is organic high oleic sunflower oil, and then the whole grain oat milk. So we do have to sometimes, and then there are some other things in here, but most of them, you know, these are things that we don't get so concerned about. Right, so they used organic colorings, vegetable juice and turmeric, some coconut oil as well, sea salt, natural flavors derived from oregano, flaxseed and plums. So I like when they say that the natural flavors are derived, what they're derived from, because sometimes natural flavors could mean anything, and it was really just a term that was developed when we stopped using MSG. So I'm gonna actually go get a little spatula and we can check on this. See, looks great. So the oven is ready. Let's push it down a little bit and we are ready for the eggs. So that's good. Yeah, so when you see natural flavors on packaged goods, just know that sometimes the natural flavors, they're not actually natural. So some of them, unless the whole product is organic, you know, natural flavors could mean anything. It's just really just a broad term for a variety of different things that are designed to help a product bring what MSG used to, which was like this umami feel, like this happy feel, like the idea that you just want to eat more, right? Which, you know, was fine, you know, in its day until we started getting reports of people having problems with MSG. And I think in some places you can still get it for use in your own home or even at restaurants, but I'm not very familiar with that. I know it's been banned in a lot of places. Okay, so we're gonna put the eggs in now. I'm just gonna put it at a slower setting so we can cream it. And I'm gonna bring this over here to help me here. There's one. This was a gift from my Aunt Marge, the blender, and I have been using it pretty consistently. Like I said, you know, it was really a learning curve for me, learning how to bake. I started real slow with doing some things for my husband, like I started with some blueberry pie, some breads, carrot cake. I did a lot of carrot cake before we learned about carrots and how they affected his gut. So once we discovered that when he went through his diabetes reversal program with the functional doctor, the functional medicine doctor, we learned that carrots weren't actually all that good for him, and of course the sugars didn't help either, but we already knew that, so we had to change some things up. And then of course we learned that he had to be gluten-free, so between the gluten and the dairy, everything changed. So, you know, I love coconut oil for that reason. Okay, this is looking really good. I'm gonna turn it up just a notch to make sure it's real good and blended. I sure hope we don't make anybody up. Okay, now I'm gonna turn it down, and we're gonna put the pumpkin in. Okay. All right. I'm just gonna spoon it in nice and easy. Yeah, no, the blender has been great, especially since I just don't have the arm strength or even so much the wrist. It's more the wrist problems. So I like using that. Yeah, there we go. It's slowing down. You can see it. So all we have to do after this then is put it with the dry stuff and put it in the pans, which I already have ready. The oven is ready to go as well, and it does have to bake for quite a while. Thank goodness I have dishes to do. That was supposed to be sarcasm. I'll be doing some dishes and some other stuff while it's baking up. My schedule has changed recently since I no longer have to log in for work at 8 o'clock, so and my race is over, so I was training for that race, which foods like these help tremendously, just to have something to go to. You know, oftentimes I wake up hungry, and you know you cannot go for a run when you're hungry because you will not have a very good run. And it's not a good way to make sure that your muscles are actually doing what they're doing when you're training, which is building more muscle, gaining endurance. So if you are someone that needs to constantly be getting food in them, like me, you know, it's really good to learn how to bake so that you have these things. The last thing I did with this protein flour was actually donut holes, and it was great. And I used the Lakanto powdered sugar, the blue stuff. Let me show you. I got it right here. So they were protein, sugar-free donut holes, and it worked great for me and River. But he didn't actually like them all that much that time. He didn't like the chocolate muffins that I made the other night either, surprisingly. So this is looking good. I'm going to turn it off so we can take a better look. I'm also going to see if I can get that in there. There we go. So it's a little stringy. The pumpkin is not so pureed. I think next time when I do this, I am going to cook it longer. So next time being as in next fall. I think I'm going to cook it longer and maybe puree it before I freeze it even. I remember what happened with this. It was just like I just wanted to get it done and in the freezer. Yeah, so we still have some chunks here. So I'm going to actually turn it up a notch. Okay, which I don't want to have to do, but you know, that's where we at for tonight. Okay. How high should I put it? Is it that loud? I hope not. River hasn't woken up yet, so that's a good thing. but I'm more concerned about my husband waking up because he doesn't go down to sleep as easily as River does, actually. River I just snuggle with sometimes and he's fine. What do you do at 11 o'clock at night at your house? Like I said, it's not the first time I'm baking after everyone goes to sleep, but the first time I decided to put on the camera and record. All right, let's see what we got. Okay, I'm actually going to slow it down. I'm going to keep it going. Okay, and I am going to spoon in the flour. Okay, here we go. 1 and 2. Oh, does this smell good? The combination with the cloves and the nutmeg certainly sets it off. I could have, oh wait, there's some more in here because that's not mixed up very well. I could have used also pumpkin spice, which I actually have a full container of, but I can always do that next time. Or that actually goes really well in the pancakes, or oatmeal even. If you've watched this far, I'm very grateful. Thank you so much. This is actually the first video I've decided to edit specifically for YouTube. All the other videos that I have on YouTube already are just videos that were modified for YouTube. So this is exciting. Also very weird because I did not expect to do it like this. But that's what happens when you have a family and children. You end up doing things at 11 o'clock at night. And I do remember my mother doing sewing projects and crafting projects at 11 o'clock at night. So it does not weird me out that much. Okay, I'll put this over here. Check on this. Ooh, it looks delicious. All right, no one has come out of their rooms yet, so that is a plus. I'm going to turn it off for a second. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Look at that. I'm going to push the sides down. Okay. This looks delicious, and it smells great. I don't know what it is about those breads that have that really soft, gooey taste to them, you know, like banana bread or zucchini bread or any one of those. They're just so good, huh? And that's exactly what we are making. Very, very, very creamy and good. You saw how much of the sugar I put in there, which, by the way, was not actual sugar, but a combination of monk fruit and erythritol. So it's going to be a creamy, sugary deliciousness. All right, and we're going to do it just for a little bit more. Oh, wait. Just to get it real good, and I'm going to put this on, cover it up so I can turn it a little faster. I can't believe I'm doing this. Okay, now I'm going to move this back to where we had it before. Excuse the kitchen. I am already in the works of, we are already in discussions about getting this remodeled. My husband has taken off some shelving units already to look at different fixings and different colors to see about doing that. So if you ever notice that we don't have cabinets on one side of the kitchen, that is why. All right, let me get this up. Let me get all of this other stuff off of here. You can't see me right now, and I apologize, but I'm cleaning the whisker. Okay, so we can get it in the pans and ready to go. All right, let me move this over here so you can see what I'm doing. So that pumpkin puree is still a little stringy, which is okay, you know, because that's like all squashes. So it's not that huge of a deal, but it's just not fun either. This smells so good. What's funny is I don't even think my husband knows this is, you know, we talk about him being the sweet tooth, but between that and savory, I would always go for sweet every single time. So, you know, that probably helped me in terms of making sure that, you know, I could figure out how to bake. Probably, all right, I'm not gonna worry about that. It probably helped me when I decided to set out and learn how to bake for my husband, which ended up being for me too. And the good news about when you bake your own stuff is that you know what's in it. You know, there's nothing better than home cooked anything. You know, that's why I make my own salad dressings, because sometimes when I turn over a bottle of salad dressing and I see that there's like all these additives and preservatives and just things that you just don't even know what they are half the time, you know, I don't like that. So I just use an oil, an acid, salt, an herb. That's it. You know, you don't need to complicate it. You know, so that's one of the reasons why I think I got into baking, and why it worked pretty good for me, was because of that. Because I was like, you know, I can manage this, I can do this. It's so much better than buying store-bought. You know, it is a process. It is a lot different than cooking in that sense. Cooking for me actually is still more fun. I'll be honest, cooking for me is still more fun than baking. But like I said, I've been enjoying this anyway. So this is coming out beautifully. I don't think I can put the whole thing in here. I do have the muffin pan ready to go as well. Okay. I might just make a few muffins. The good news about the muffins is they'll be faster to cook, which means I can have one sooner. Let me get the muffin tray out too. All right, I'm gonna throw these in. I'm gonna do this one over there on the side. And I just did 4 here, so we'll see how that goes. All right. And this is going to be in. I put it on for 70 minutes. So that's gonna be a while. So I'm gonna pause this and get back to you when they're done. So the muffins are ready. So this is exciting. I already checked them and they are looking good, and they are coming right out of here very easily. They smell amazing. The whole house smells amazing, actually. Paul's gonna wake up, my husband's gonna wake up and be like, what happened? Oh, that's great. He's gonna love it. Those bits are a little not so fun. That was a little burnt, the little crumbles. That's a little cute one. So let's see, I'm gonna bust open this one so we can see what it looks like and how it is. That's exciting. It definitely smells like the fall season, pumpkin, everything. So it's perfectly mushy, boingy on the inside, how it should be, right? And it has the crispiness on the outside. You can see a little bit of crispiness. So, the bread's gonna be the same, crispy on the outside, boingy and moist. It's very moist. You can see the grease on my fingers just from picking it out of there, which is what you want in any kind of vegetable fruit bread, right? I'll let you watch me take the bread out. But I'm not going to slice it right away. I'm not going to slice it till the morning. I am about to take the bread out. We are going to use, I put it away. I'm going to use, where is the other one? I forget where I put it. It's the one that River likes using, so he doesn't like when I use it. It's his own mitt, apparently. I didn't know how it came to be his. So, let's check it out. Now, I checked it only a few moments ago. I put it back in for about 3 minutes just to be sure, and I think it's perfect. So we're gonna let it rest for a few minutes before taking out of the pan, and then let it cool off a little more. And then I think I'm just gonna cover it lightly for the evening. I think we're ready to take this out of here. It's a little warm in the bottom. I found it. This is the one River likes to use when he helps. I don't understand. He doesn't like when I use it. It's a good thing he's not awake. Let's see. Feels like it wants to come out. I'm going to prompt it with a knife. Let's see what we got here, huh? Maybe it's on the bottom where it's stuck, huh? I got it good. I know I got it good before I put them in there. There we go. Look at that, see? That's beautiful. And now we have pumpkin bread for the rest of the week.